Hey everyone, we're checking out Mines of Volantis. This is a game that I had playtested in the past. The developer contacted me, asked me to give it another shot. It was quite a while ago when I playtested it before, so apparently there's been a lot of development that's been going on since then, so it should be interesting to see what new things that we can see. I do have the game page open here. It's not too much written here, so I'll just read through it quickly. Crash landing on the planet Volantis, you mine through its surface in search of a way home. Features procedural world. The world is uniquely generated each time. You will never know what resources and artifacts you will find next time. Collect. Find valuable resources to sell them and refuel your harvester. Upgrades. To achieve greater depths, upgrade to a bigger fuel tank or maybe a bigger cargo bay. The choice is yours. Escape. Find a way to escape Volantis. Alright, it mentions a Discord. You can check out the game page if you like. I'll link it in the description, but nothing mentioned about controls or anything. It does mention there's Xbox controller support, so we might try that out. I do have my Xbox controller here, so let's go ahead and first of all drop that overlay and we can jump into the game so I'm not seeing anything past the screen. We got some kind of ambient music going on here. Continue new game. Let's go ahead and jump into new game. Alright, galactic date, something big. I've crash landed on Volantis, an abandoned mining colony. There aren't any ships nearby to rescue me, so I have to find a different way to escape the planet. I found a harvester which I can use to mine resources underground. Unfortunately, the harvester requires fuel from the fuel station. To get credits for buying fuel, I need to process the resources at the refinery. Colony archives mention more valuable resources deep underground. To reach these, I will need to upgrade the harvester with thermal plating. The upgrade station. Alright, so kind of, at least on the surface, kind of sounds similar to when I played way back when, as I recall. So we can dig sideways, we can dig down. Oh, it's mentioning the controls. Okay, so shift and left, right, or shift and down. Spacebar to fly and E to interact. Alright, so I can't move the mouse or anything. I wonder, okay, so I do remember fuel being a big deal last time, but I think it was like anytime you moved, it used fuel, and now it seems like you can move. I don't know if you can fly. Alright, flying does use the fuel though. So I don't remember exactly, it was a while ago when I played last. Got some interesting graphics here, so I don't know what interacting here will do. Okay, so we do use the mouse in the menus here, I guess. It looks like. Alright, so what I'm noticing is that I can't really tell which color means highlighted. It's not really clear to me whether the lighter color or the darker bluer color means highlighted. I can see when I like hover the mouse over it, but so that's kind of confusing to me. I almost thought it was like the left and the right was backwards, but apparently it's the blue that is highlight. So this is apparently where we bring the gem things. This is where we buy more fuel. And then, what is this? Portal network, okay. And then, I don't want to waste too much, but I guess we can go up here to upgrade. So we have to actually use a small amount of fuel to get to the upgrades, which is kind of interesting. So we don't have any of this, whatever this is. Alright, so we have to click on it to see it. It might be nice if you could just hover over it or something. That's the thermal plating. I wonder why this stuff is all gray and then this one in particular is in color, and then there's this white block, which I guess is just, he doesn't have the art asset for it again. Or yet. I don't know why I said again. Well, it says locked. I don't know. Unlock. Fuel tank alpha. Transport more valuables. Drill faster. And emergency fuel protocol automatically activates the emergency when it's depleted, allowing the harvester to run on fumes for 5 seconds. Interesting. Alright, in any case, so presumably when I start drilling it's gonna use fuel, yeah. New discovery, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so it does feel a little weird to me to use the shift as kind of an action key. Like I'm used to in games kind of like holding it down or maybe pressing it for like a mobility thing or something. I wonder if, since you're kind of using the mouse, I mean, you could potentially like use the mouse one button or something with the WASD. I think that would feel better probably. Usually when I'm using WASD, I kind of want to use my right hand for something else. Another thing is you can, you know, stick to keyboard controls. You could set it to like J, K, L or something. Or even like right control or something like that if you want to do it that way. Or if you want to use the arrow keys with your right hand, which is supported clearly, you might want to use like ZXC, this kind of thing. You know, different options. I don't know. I don't think there are. Let me try the escape key. Got sound options in here. That's kind of weird. Okay. Oh, my mouse is gone, so that's probably a small bug here. The escape key also doesn't resume. Oh shoot, I lost my mouse. Alright. Alright. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, when I press escape to pause the game, I want to be able to like press escape to unpause it again. I don't want to have to like click or whatever. It's a little bit annoying. But yeah, there's no rebindable controls as of yet that I can find, but you know, there's some different options there. Now I'm gonna turn on the Xbox controller because that's probably gonna be just the comfiest. Wow, do I move faster? Oh, okay. Super weird. Alright. Is there analog? Yeah, so there is analog. So this is one of these weird situations where when, they've got like a ton of inertia on the WASD movement, but no inertia on the thumbstick movement, but it does have analog, so you can move slower or faster, but it's just kind of weird that you just kind of go objectively faster when you use a different control method. I'm not sure that there's necessarily any benefit to it in this particular game, aside from, you know, you might have a personal preference that might make the game go slightly faster or something. But it's definitely weird to just not have any inertia when there's inertia in the other control method, so I would consider changing that. Like I said, it does have analog, but it's like real touchy, so I mean, I don't really see much of a purpose to that. Now I don't know how to. Okay, the X key, X button, sorry, is apparently drill, and then A button to jump. Seems fine. I don't think it uses the triggers or the bumpers. Alright, I have to actually watch my fuel meter pretty carefully here. So it's real. That lack of inertia makes it really hard if you want to try to test things like where the collision is, which is what I'm trying to do here. I have to like switch to the keyboard there for a second. Oh, alright, so that was... Oh no, alright, so there's a little bit funkiness going on here with the thumbstick. Like I pushed it to the right, but if it's just ever so slightly down, then it'll drill downwards even though I'm pressing it like almost straight to the right, the thumbstick. So this is a little bit of a problem you can have with thumbstick implementation. You might notice that it's kind of natural when you hold a controller like this and move the thumbstick left and right that you don't really push it straight left and right. There's like a slight angle just because of the way your hand works. And that's something you kind of have to actually account for in code. It's not really done for you, unfortunately. So Um, yeah, that was kind of weird. Just imagine it, maybe. It's the A. What is the button to interact here? Alright, you have to push Y for some reason. Wonder why they don't just stick with X. Start? How does this work? Start, stop. Oh, I have to go to the refinery first. Okay. Y. Alright, I did notice the Y this time, but I didn't notice that before. Okay. So this is showing what I got, and I can just do process all. Now I don't know what button to press, I guess A. So we're using all these different buttons for different things. It's probably a good idea to just kind of collect everything under one button that just is your action button. Which, actually in that case it could be either A or X. I mean, in these menus it doesn't really matter what button you use, so... So the little Y is a little hard to see. I actually thought it was just like a yellow thing that just popped up. I didn't see the actual Y in there. But yeah, I would... Alright, so if you tap the jump button, it doesn't do you anything. You have to actually hold it for a second. A little weird because it's sort of like... Oh, that's kind of weird. Yeah, it makes it feel unresponsive, unfortunately. And like if you just let it go for a second... Well, something's a little weird here. Okay, something's a little weird. I know I'm like almost out of fuel. What button is it? Okay, new button. Okay. Yeah, so if I hold right against a wall... Well, maybe it's... Okay, I think I figured it out. Yeah, so apparently if you're holding down and you press the A button, it doesn't... I wonder if it does that on the keyboard too. It doesn't jump. Yeah, so I wonder why that would be. I wonder if there's any purpose to that. I can't imagine any purpose to that, so... unfortunately, the issue I was just talking about with the thumbstick was kind of causing that to be a problem, where if you're holding to the right, but it's just ever so slightly down, the game kind of interprets that as a down input, and then it makes your jump not work. So if you can hear me pressing the button, I'm like holding to the right and it's not working. So interesting little bug there. One of these things where you really have to kind of divide the thumbstick into like quadrants or something, based on the angle. Because if you, for instance, like I said, if you're pressing to the right and it's just ever so slightly down, it'll kind of interpret that as a down input. It would be like, you know, diagonally right and down, but it includes that down input, so that's kind of the problem. So yeah, I'm experimenting with the keyboard here, and it doesn't... Well, it interprets that diagonal, which would be like pressing left and down or right and down simultaneously, as down. As you can see, it goes downwards. So that's what's happening here with the thumbstick. So hopefully that made sense. But yeah, it's kind of annoying when I'm trying to go right and it's not giving me the right input. And the D-pad doesn't work either. So I might just have to stick to keyboard controls, just because I know I can do left and right without pressing down unless I intend to. Alright, I got a reward of this for some reason. I don't know what that is. So I'm almost out of fuel. I don't know if I can make it back. See, I wasn't paying attention very well. How much money do I have? 53. Oh crap. See, that's not good. If you're super low, like I almost lost, presumably. It's kind of weird how the start doesn't open as like highlighted or anything. Like when you go into this with the keyboard, none of them are highlighted. So like you press left and nothing happens, then you press right and it highlights the close. So it's a little awkward. Spacebar. So yeah, that fuel meter. I imagine you could probably make that a little more obvious. Like as it's getting low, you could have some kind of feedback. It tells you like, hey, you're about to run out. I also don't know about. Oh, it uses the drill even when there's nothing there. That seems kind of unnecessary. But I have no indication of like how much I'm drilling this object. Like, is this just something that can't be drilled through at all? I guess that's what I have to conclude from how long I've spent drilling into that, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like bedrock or anything, and it's like if I can drill through all this other rock and minerals and stuff, I would kind of expect that this random white rock here I would be able to drill through that, but apparently I can't, so interesting. But yeah, I think it would be super easy to just. I do see the fuel meter flashing now, but what's the button E? Oh, that's weird. So unfortunately, yeah, it seems like these don't work unless you've stopped moving. Like when you hit the E key to access these buildings. It just seems unnecessary and it's kind of annoying because you just go and then you stop and you hit the button, but you're still like, because of the inertia, you're still slowing down, so it just doesn't do anything. It just seems unnecessary and just kind of, you know, it's never fun when you do an input and nothing happens, or what you expect to happen doesn't happen in a video game. So I don't really know. Like what kind of strategy would make sense for for proceeding with the mining here, and the digging specifically. So yeah, it's kind of annoying getting that highlight to show up. I guess I have to press to the right first, and then I can press to the left, and it'll highlight the start. Process all. Again, it's kind of weird, just the different buttons, the E key and the space bar. Like I don't know which thing to use. Then I have to go to close. So I guess I don't want to spend like. I don't think I want to spend all of my time getting like every single one of these minerals. Because, as I understand, the point of the game is to kind of dig down further and, you know, get to the more rare things, and that's kind of how you progress. More rare minerals down there. Why is it spacebar? I don't understand. Okay. E. Start. Alright. Yeah, just getting mixed up like which button to press. There's just so many different buttons in play here. I mean, it's not that many, but there's enough. There's more than one. So yeah, it would definitely be nice to have some kind of a indicator of progress on drilling through something. My cargo is really small. I guess I gotta upgrade. But I think I need like 5 of those sphere-looking things. Space bar. So yeah, it's also kind of weird to use one button to open a menu and then another button to close it. Let me check this again. So, let me use the mouse here. Alright, my mouse is not showing. That's unfortunate. Okay. Alright, back to the WAC. So this was, I guess that was just highlighted. I was wondering why there was a box around it, but I guess we have to actually, again, we have to like press the button before we can read what it is, instead of just hovering over it. Seems unnecessary. So yeah, we need 5 to unlock the alpha level upgrades, it looks like. At least the escape key works here. Given how you're not particularly well equipped at the start, it does take a little while before you can get any of those first upgrades. Oh, we got 2. Okay. Oh, that's kind of annoying because I wanted to get that one up here, but I can't do it now. So I assume, yeah. Apparently you can kind of do this. So that's probably, I'm assuming, unintended strategy. So you can drill into something kind of while hovering. As long as there's a ceiling here, it appears, but it does take a lot of fuel to do that, so it's kind of interesting. Apparently I didn't have to highlight the start, I could have just pressed the button. So that might indicate that it may be the case that when you open this, the start is already highlighted, it just doesn't actually render the highlight for some reason. So that's probably what's going on. So we do have enough for an upgrade. All these highlights are confusing. This can't be normal. Okay, so yeah, there's definitely 2 highlights, and then there's like the one that's selected that's highlighted. I don't see the need for... How do you unlock it though? I guess I just press the button again, or... Alright, I guess you have to highlight it and then move over to the... Oh, now I can't move. What's going on? I can't control this menu anymore. I'm trying the mouse now. Can't see where my cursor is, but I can... Alright, yeah, so... Something buggy happens there when you buy the thing. I also don't see the highlight move over to... Oh, this unlocked all of them. Oh, no, I get it now. Okay. So this apparently is a little confusing, but apparently it unlocks the upgrades, but it doesn't actually give you the upgrades. You have to actually buy the upgrades with money after you unlock them. So it's a little weird. The other thing I was going to mention is that when you move to the left of these boxes over to where it says unlock, it doesn't actually highlight the box there, so it's a little confusing. So yeah, a bit buggy here and confusing with the multiple highlights and everything. It also gets pretty weird when you press diagonals. It starts like zooming around. But we're gonna go ahead and close. I think we have 416. Let's get more, and then we can buy some of those. I guess I can go over here. Again, it's pretty annoying that you can just kind of move left and right and waste your drill like that when it's just in the open air. Well, I didn't end up earning very much, but I guess it's enough for like one upgrade here. So I have to select it to see how much it costs. Oh, this one's only 300. But run on fumes for 5 seconds. So yeah, I definitely think we should get that at some point, but not yet. Now this right now, it seems like it would be overpriced. I wonder if the developer has like done the math in terms of like what is actually going to, what kind of efficiency you can actually get out of like your fuel use for these upgrades. Obviously, I don't know just like how that math would work out, but I get the impression that this is pretty expensive for what it does. So it seems like moving around uses more fuel and faster than drilling, but I guess ultimately, I don't know, it would I mean, there's also only so many upgrades you can even buy, so it's always going to make sense to buy what you can here. It's not like I have to choose another one to replace this one or anything, so let's go ahead and buy this one. Let me see here. Okay, it definitely uses fuel slower than jumping, but also I'm noticing that like while you're down here, you don't really use the jump very much, at least while you're digging down. You kind of mostly just use it when you're going back, maybe navigating around a little bit, but so yeah, that probably does amount to a lot over time. I gotta go over here. Also, it might be nice if you could just kind of circumvent having to go like over here to the refinery every time and then like go back here into the fuel again. Like if you know that the player's gonna have to do this every time, then making the player go through these extra steps is just kind of giving them busy work, which is, you know, maybe not that much fun. This is something you could simplify, of course. You know, you could even just make it one building, like, so you just cash in everything. I don't think there's any reason to not go over here. I think it's just mandatory that every time you come up, you go to the refinery, you go to the fuel, and potentially upgrades. So yeah, it kind of just amounts to busy work. It might be didn't earn very much. It might be worth considering simplifying that process just to keep things moving along for the player. Oh, you can apparently go off the side here a little bit, and then I guess it just wastes fuel trying to drill down over there, so that's kind of weird that you can do that. Alright, we're almost full again. I'm gonna connect to this other tunnel here. Nope. I didn't even look at how much I had before I came over here. It's only 258, so... Alright, so yeah, it does feel like the progression is pretty slow going to start with. I don't know if it remains that way, but it just kind of feels a little slow. I mean, you can't hold very much per trip, and then it just becomes a rinse and repeat thing. So I haven't gotten the sense of much variety thus far, which could potentially also kind of be misleading to players. I mean, if they're playing the game and they start doing the same things over and over again this early on, they might be tempted to believe that this is kind of all that the game is, and not see like what other things happen later in the later parts of the game, the sorts of new things that happen. So it can be a good idea to just kind of, you know, try and tune the pacing of the game and how and when it introduces new things and such, so that the player gets a sense of, oh, if I keep playing, I'm going to keep discovering new elements and things like that, and that'll keep players interested better. Did I earn? I only have 331. See, I keep just kind of coming over here. It just kind of feels natural to do that after every trip, but unfortunately I'm just not making that much in a single trip, so there's no sense in going over to the upgrades. Stuck on every little thing here, so that inertia is kind of being a little problematic in that situation. Oh, there's like a little fossil down there. Wonder if I can mine that and have something happen. Now, sometimes my cargo bay isn't filling. I wonder why. It got up to 9.5, and then like I uh-oh. I wonder if there's some kind of a bug. Cargo value 140. I haven't been paying attention to that. It's not going up anymore, is it? No, the cargo value isn't going up. Okay, so I was looking on the right where it says 2 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Maybe that's maybe when you fill that, when you get 10 of those, it's counting down to when you get the circle things that I have in the top right there. Just kind of what I'm guessing. That's pretty confusing. I kind of thought maybe that has something to do with my cargo capacity. But apparently I'm not getting anything else, even though my cargo isn't full, from when I'm mining these minerals, so I can only assume don't know, it was just unexpected that it would say 9.5 out of 10, but it would never actually fill up all the way to 10. So I don't know if there's a minimum. Like, I don't know how much each mineral like takes up in the cargo hold or anything like that, but I would kind of think that even if I mean, it could go either way, but kind of intuitively, if you think about this sort of thing, you would think that you could fill up like a half. Like even if the, what is it, the iron or something, the copper, if the copper took up 1 cubic meter per thing you drilled, that you could still get like 0.5 cubic meters of it by mining it, you know. It's sort of like in the real world there wouldn't be a limitation like that, so it just seems counterintuitive, but oh, my fuel is low. I gotta get more fuel. Oh, that's not good. Wait. Okay, so it seems like your fuel consumption doesn't even slow down or anything when you're just like against a ceiling, not moving. Might be nice if you could just give the players a little bit of a. Well, let's go ahead and top this off. A little bit of a break and that kind of thing, if they're just not moving at all like this. And maybe it could just slow down your fuel consumption considerably. It'd be kind of realistic in a sense. There was that fossil thing. Oops, that I probably shouldn't ignore. It's all the way down here. New discovery. That was bad. Okay. Waste in fuel, moving inefficiently. Alright, we can finally buy the next upgrade. Cargo Bay Alpha. Drill Alpha. Let's go over here. Oh, it's taking so much fuel. I don't really know how to judge like how much fuel it's going to take to get back. I don't know if I should just think of it as if like if I use half of it, then I might need half of it to get back. It doesn't look like I would need half the fuel tank to get all the way back. But I don't really perceive a means to really kind of judge how much fuel it's going to take back. I guess you could kind of, I don't know if you just get like a feel for it or something. But yeah, it's tricky because if you ever run out, if you ever do misjudge and just not make it back, then I assume that it's just game over. And this isn't like this isn't a quick-paced game, so if you spent this much time doing this kind of sort of busy work, mining everything like this, and then all of a sudden you game over, I don't think you're gonna want to start all over again from the beginning. Just for how long it takes to start progressing in the game. So it would be a pretty intense consequence to end up actually game overing like that, I think. Now I can do that. Alright, but we gotta get out of here. Oh shoot, please don't game over. Yeah, I don't even know how... Well, it does show your depth, but like what does that amount to? It's just kind of a number to me. Holy crap, I'm so low on fuel. Phew. Now what would be really sad is if you got up here and ran out of fuel so you couldn't get over the little gap here to get to the fuel thing. Alright, yeah, and the other thing I'm noticing is it's kind of strange, but I guess like the further down you go, the more slow the whole process gets. I mean, you can unlock like the more powerful drill, and yeah, it drills faster. But just the amount of time going back and forth just increases like linearly with how far you progress in the game. So I don't know of any... Well, there's nothing I've seen that suggests like a means to speed up that process of returning back to the surface and then coming back down here to mine. So if there's nothing like that in the game, that might be something worth considering, just because I imagine it's just going to take longer and longer, and that might just make the game and end up being more tedious rather than more interesting as it goes along, which is of course what you would probably want. This little... I wish I just dug straight down there, that's annoying. Alright, I'm pretty low on fuel. Right, we can get, I think... Well, no, we can get this one. Might be worth it. Just for... for the sake of an inevitable emergency. What should we do here? Let's just drill here for convenience sake. I guess I'm just going down then. Now I wonder if you upgrade the drill, if that makes it so these rocks that I couldn't drill through before would become drillable. I don't really have any reason to believe that, except that it would potentially make sense that it works that way. Wow, there's two fossils right here. Oh, I'm super low on fuel. I don't know if I'm gonna make it back. I did just buy that emergency thing, so that's good. It's also good that, like, left and right doesn't take any fuel, so it probably doesn't matter too much what route you take as long as you don't drop down any, as long as you're always going left or right or upwards. Like, I just dropped down one block here, but other than that, it seems to not really matter which route you take, which is kind of a good thing. Now if I just go straight up like on the surface, I wonder if there's anything up in the air. Oh, you can actually go pretty high. That's interesting. In the sky in the background looked interesting, but unfortunately it takes resources that I prefer not to waste at this point. Alright, I'm just gonna waste some fuel Just trying to simplify something here. Oh, I gotta get those fossils. Try to run over here somewhere. Oh. Oh. I guess we're just gonna mine some of these. Alright, got 2. Alright, we got more of this iron or whatever it is. 3 of these. Fuel is getting low again. I didn't come close to filling my cargo bay this time. So yeah, I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but it's kind of weird. There's like a little bit of inertia on the jet thing. Which is to say that when you first press it, it doesn't... I don't know, it kind of bumps up a little bit. Something's down here. Is it just you press it super... Alright. It's like there's inertia, but it accelerates like super fast or something. I would consider just making that like straight up linear or something. Or just, you know, give the player a little bit of instantaneous acceleration when he starts boosting. So if you just tap it, it doesn't give you that little moment where it just doesn't do anything. It just kind of makes it a little less responsive. Because it always feels like it just takes that brief moment between when you press the button and when you start just kind of moving upwards, but then once you get moving, it seems to work fine. But I think it would just feel a little more responsive if that was tweaked a little bit there. I can finally buy this, okay. Oh, and I can unlock the next... Well, now I wonder if... So I unlocked these, now what does this cost? 2,000. Advanced thrust, oh, I selected this one. Why does this say locked? I guess we have to... Okay, so we have to buy this one before we can buy this one. So this is all a little convoluted, but I guess it does make sense. We have to buy this upgrade before we can move on to the next one. Now it still says locked. Uh-oh. I think I might have bugged this out. So I think this might be a bug where this is now locked, even though I unlocked the beta upgrades. So I think maybe because I unlocked it before I bought this upgrade, that it never updated this to be unlocked. Which is not good. That's going to keep me from progressing, obviously. Or at least make it harder than it needs to be. But now I should dig at least a little faster. This doesn't seem to work. So it is a little bit faster, and it does speed up things a little bit in terms of the digging speed, but I mean at this point in the game, but the thing is, of course, as you go down lower, the different minerals you find take longer and longer anyways to drill through, so it's kind of negated in terms of whether or not it would speed up the process of the game. I think it just balances out. New discovery, looks like gold or something. Or bronze, maybe. Oh, my fuel. I wasn't paying attention to the fuel. I used like all of it. Alright, so I think we're gonna end up having to use that emergency thing. Ooh, I shouldn't have stopped right there. Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but we're gonna try. It'd be nice if I could look up, you know, if there was some way, just hold W or something. and just look above you so you could route like oh shoot, now it's going. I'm not gonna make it. Oh, it just straight up kills you. Wow, you don't actually lose. Surprising. Okay, so I lost my cargo bay. Alright, so I was expecting it to game over. Yeah, I wasn't moving quick enough when I got into that 5-second part to make this work. Phew. So, yeah, I was expecting it to game over, which it didn't, which I think is great because that would have been really annoying. So that actually makes it a lot less frustrating than it would have been otherwise. So that's a good thing. Like I mentioned, it does appear you lose your cargo bay, but I assume that on the right there it says I still had like the 4 fossils and everything, so I guess the fossils don't... I don't know if you actually put those in the cargo bay or anything like that. But yeah, I didn't make anything, it just brought me back. I don't know of any like lives or anything. It doesn't appear you have lives. So yeah, I actually just had no idea what would happen when... Or I just kind of expected it would end the game when I ran out of fuel, so I didn't even know that I had the option of doing risky plays like that. But I almost wonder if it would be a bit frustrating. See, I was pretty darn close to like getting up here, and I did make it back to the surface, but when you run out, you just immediately blow up. Like if I had like come over here to the right and then just ran out of fuel, like right in front of this thing, it would have been pretty annoying, especially just knowing that I don't use any fuel for moving left and right. So like intuitively, if I could just get up here, then like once I'm here, even if I had 0 fuel, I should be able to just go over here and fuel up, right? I would assume, but you just blow up when you run out of fuel, so... Yeah, I wonder if maybe... maybe what you could do is, when you do run out of fuel, you could make like a little timer, so like after 5 seconds or so, with no fuel, then you'd blow up, that kind of thing. And then you could still move left and right, but you couldn't use the jets and that kind of thing. And maybe you just like flash red for 5 seconds or whatever, and then you just blow up afterwards. So that would, at least in that case where you actually make it to the surface but run out of fuel, you'd still kind of have the option or the ability to move yourself to the fuel station, and it would be potentially less frustrating. It seems like it wouldn't be that rare. I mean, you'd think it would probably be rare that would happen, but I think after playing it for a bit, it almost seems like it's almost kind of easy to make that happen. The way the mechanics work, and just, you know, that small miscalculation of running out of fuel right before you get to the surface. It seems like it'd be pretty easy to do that, so... Yeah, I'm really low on fuel again. It just takes a long time to get down to stuff, and... I'm not always paying attention to that fuel meter. Oh crap. That's not good. So let's go over here. So it looks like maybe there's an M key? There's an M key. Okay, that's for your discoveries. Oh, so is this everything in the game? So it looks like we have at least one more mineral, and then we got the fossils, but then there's some kind of a crystal thing. Okay, so I guess when you fill these meters by collecting these, then this is how much you get of these circle things. Interesting. Alright, how much stuff that's still locked? We've only got 1,200. Alright, so we can't buy anything here. Now this... I don't know what that even is, but presumably that's for further in the game. I have no idea how that works yet. So I don't really want to have to go all the way over here to go down again. That's going to be kind of annoying, because I'm probably not going to remember very well what kind of path I took to get down here. Alright, at least we almost filled the cargo bay without running out of fuel this time. Yeah, what do you do? Like, I understand you have the emergency thing that gives you 5 seconds, but I guess, like, you have to get all the way to this in 5 seconds before you blow up. I mean, I just really think the whole idea of, like, actually making it to the surface here but still blowing up because you didn't specifically get to here and press the button in time just kind of feels wrong. It would also be frustrating if you happened to like run out of credits. Like, say the last time you did whatever, you fueled up and then you had 0 credits. But you made it back up here and you didn't have time to go to the refinery and then back to the fuel thing because you only had the 5 seconds or whatever. That's probably unlikely, but it would still be annoying if that was possible. I mean, I'm sure it is possible, but yeah, I definitely think once you get to the surface, that should kind of be your safe zone. You shouldn't have to worry about blowing up at that point. Alright, so I guess this is where I was. I think what I'm going to do is probably not keep playing for too much longer. I think I've kind of covered most of the game loop, or whatever you want to call it, here so far. And I did play this for quite a while when I first playtested it also. So I'm pretty sure I got down further and everything that time. Not sure about how much else there could be that I may have missed or whatever, but can't keep playing forever, unfortunately, so hopefully it wasn't anything like really big, some kind of really big addition that I just haven't encountered yet. Again, it definitely feels like it's a little slow in the progression. I would definitely... Yeah, I'm really worried because I feel like I should be comfortable with that 5-second buffer, but just the way that it works is kind of sketchy, as I've already described, so I don't feel as comfortable as I want to. Alright, but yeah, I think that the progression definitely feels a little bit slow to me. I think if you could scoop things along a little more, it would probably make the game more interesting, and That's probably both in terms of the whole digging process, which I mentioned before. Maybe you can make it go a little faster, like over time somehow, find some means to return to the surface faster. I almost want there to be an elevator or something that just zips me up there. But also in terms of presenting new things to the player. You don't want to be too sluggish in that sort of thing either, so... And like unlocking the upgrades and stuff like that. Maybe if there were more upgrades, then you could kind of unlock them a little faster, and then at least you could have that small element of novelty of, hey, at least I have slightly different performance now. So I'm going down pretty far. It's going to take a lot of fuel to get back. Unfortunately, it seems like if you're digging down in the down direction, you're going to end up using a lot of fuel getting back. So yeah, I definitely don't have enough fuel to get back at this point. I have to go straight up like this. That just used half my fuel. So that's kind of too bad. I guess it's something to just take into account, is this idea that if you are digging downwards instead of sideways to collect minerals or whatever, then you're going to end up using way more fuel to get back. Alright, so yeah, I died again. I'm probably going to wrap this up now. I think I probably expressed my thoughts thoroughly enough already. For sure there's some wonkiness in the menus and stuff, some bugs here and there that could definitely be worked out. But hopefully this was a useful playtest. And if you have any more questions for me or anything, feel free to let me know. It's actually kind of weird. It's hard to see where the hole is on this lighter brown part. If I could see my mouse. Can I get my mouse? I guess I can when I pause it, unfortunately. There's no other way to show my mouse, but let me do this. So like this part right here, it just kind of all blends together a little bit there. But in any case, yeah. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.